Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Sparkle English, where I help you improve your English level. My name is Jennifer, and in today's lesson we're going to talk about 5 types of clauses. In my last video we talked about types of phrases, so make sure to check that video out as well. So first of all, what is a clause? Well, a clause is also a group of words, just like a phrase. However, a clause has both a subject and a verb component or a predicate, whereas a phrase does not have both a subject and a predicate. And clauses can be independent or dependent. A dependent clause is also known as a subordinate clause. So we're going to talk about 5 types of clauses in this video. First, we're going to talk about independent clauses versus dependent clauses. And then we're going to talk about 3 types of dependent clauses: a noun clause, an adjective clause, and an adverb clause. So first, let's talk about independent clauses. And an independent clause is a group of words that can stand alone as a complete sentence. This is why it's called an independent clause. For example, my sister is a teacher. This sentence leaves us with no extra questions. If someone says that to you, it makes complete sense as it is. And remember that all clauses have a subject and a verb component or a predicate. So my sister is the subject and the predicate is a teacher. We should go bowling tomorrow. Once again, an independent clause can stand alone. It's a complete sentence. Cats and dogs make the best pets. So an independent clause can stand alone as it is. But sometimes we combine it with a dependent clause, because a dependent clause, also known as a subordinate clause, cannot stand alone. And the reason for the name is that it depends on an independent clause for meaning. For example, because I was exhausted. Well, you can see, like all clauses, we have a subject, I, we have a predicate, was exhausted. But the word because makes this a dependent clause, so this cannot stand alone as it is. If we remove the word because and just have I was exhausted, that would be an independent clause. But combined with the word because, well, now we need more information. What are you trying to say? For example, I didn't go to the party because I was exhausted. This dependent clause needs an independent clause for meaning. Here's another example. If it stops raining. Once again, the word if makes this a dependent clause. What happens if it stops raining? More information is needed, so this is a dependent clause. We could not finish this with a period. Another example, while Ben was sleeping. When we were kids. All of these dependent clauses require more information. They require an independent clause to make sense. So now that we know the difference between a dependent clause and an independent clause, let's go on to different types of dependent clauses, starting with a noun clause. So a noun clause acts as a noun in a sentence, and it's a type of dependent clause. Remember that all clauses have a subject and a verb or predicate. For example, whatever mom cooked smells delicious. Whatever mom cooked is a noun clause. And that's because these words together act as a noun in a sentence. A way that you can determine that this acts as a noun is if you try to replace it with another word. Imagine that the thing mom cooked was soup. This could be replaced with the noun soup. Whatever mom cooked smells delicious, or the soup smells delicious. Another example of this, what the teacher said hurt my feelings. What the teacher said is a noun clause acting as a noun. In this case, a thing or a comment. The teacher's comment hurt my feelings. Noun clauses can act as subjects, objects, or complements. In both of these cases, the noun clause acts as the subject of the sentence. And these noun clauses come before the verbs. But let's view an example of a noun clause as an object. I can't decide what to wear. David finally remembered where he put his keys. In both of these examples, what to wear and where he put his keys are noun clauses that are acting as objects. I can't decide my outfit. So what to wear is acting as a noun that replaces my outfit. And David finally remembered where he put his keys. He remembered the place. Okay? Now let's move on to an adjective clause, which can also be known as a relative clause. And an adjective clause describes or modifies a noun or a pronoun. It is also a type of dependent clause. And it begins with words like who, which, that, etc. Let's look at some examples. The book that I borrowed was incredible. That I borrowed is an adjective clause, and it's describing the noun book. It's giving us more information about the book. Everyone deserves a partner who is loyal. Who is loyal is also an adjective clause, as it's describing the type of partner. The necklace which I bought in Paris is missing. This relative clause or adjective clause is giving us more information about the necklace. So relative clauses describe a noun and they answer questions like which one or what kind. They give us more information about a person, place, or thing. Now let's move on to adverb clauses or adverbial clauses. So an adverb clause modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb. And once again, it's a type of dependent clause, and it answers questions like when, why, how, or under what condition. For example, you can sit down wherever you like. Wherever you like is an adverb clause because it tells us where you can sit down. It's giving us extra information about the verb. Here's another example. We will drive to the city as soon as it stops snowing. As soon as it stops snowing is also an adverb clause because it tells us when the action will happen. So now we're going to move on to a quiz, and there are 2 parts. In part 1, you must identify if it's an independent or a dependent clause. Number 1, because my little brother was ill. Number 2, I love reading books. Number 3, my parents arrived at the train station. Number 4, if we have some spare time in the evening. And finally, number 5, when my cousin gets back from her trip. Okay, so number 1 is a dependent clause. This clause is not a complete sentence. We're missing information. The word because makes it a dependent clause. We need an independent clause to complete it. We didn't go to the party because my little brother was ill, for example. Number 2 is an independent clause. We could add a period, and this makes sense on its own. My parents arrived at the train station, number 3, is also an independent clause. We are not left with any questions. It's a complete sentence on its own. Number 4 is a dependent clause if we have some spare time in the evening. The word if makes this a dependent clause. We need more information. What are you trying to say? And number 5 is also a dependent clause. When my cousin gets back from her trip. This is not a complete sentence. We need more information. So let's move on to part 2. And you must identify if the highlighted clause is a noun clause, adjective, or adverb clause. Number 1. The kids played outside until it got dark. Number 2. Whoever made this cake deserves a prize. Number 3. The movie that I just watched was terrible. Number 4. Can you tell me why Doug left early? And finally, number 5. My dog follows me wherever I go. Okay, so number 1 is an adverb clause. Until it got dark tells us when the kids played outside. So this clause modifies the verb played. Number 2 is a noun clause. Whoever made this cake, this acts as the subject of the sentence. And it tells us who deserves a prize, the person. Number 3, that I just watched is an adjective or a relative clause. It describes the noun movie, telling us which movie was terrible. Number 4, why Doug left early is a noun clause. Whereas in number 2, this noun clause acted as a subject, why Doug left early is a noun clause that is acting as the object of the verb tell. Can you tell me the reason? And finally, number 5, my dog follows me wherever I go. This is an adverb clause. It tells us where the dog follows. So it modifies the verb follows. So let me know in the comments section how many you got correct out of 10. And if you had any difficulties, please tell me as well. Make sure to subscribe to Sparkle English for more lessons like this one. And I hope you all have a great day.